Thank you. My name is James Soutar. I'm very proud to be here. I'm in fact extremely proud of being a CFA charter holder. I got my charter in 1995. It was presented to me by George Long in a group of about 12 people in the Hong Kong Club. I think George was one of the very first Americans to be allowed into the Hong Kong Club. I don't think the board at the time actually realized he was American, but anyway. That piece of paper that George gave me hangs on my wall in my office, and I'm very proud of it. But actually, as proud as I am of my charter, I'm even more proud of the fact that I've been associated with the Hong Kong Society of Financial Analysts for so many years. And there's a story I want to tell you, because Ashley sort of brought it up about how when she timidly first appeared at this cocktail party. Let me tell you, you want the real story? There was nothing timid about Ashley. In fact, I remember Richard and I the next day going, that kid, we need to recruit. She is a spark. She is a spark plug. She's going to go far. We need to bring her on, get her on a committee. One day she'll be on the board. And Richard, were we right? Yeah. Right? So Ashley, it was pretty obvious from the beginning that you were going to go far. And it's now your responsibility to find the next Ashley among the young people coming through. So really, I think I would actually, honestly, I've seen, and with all the greatest of respects to all the presidents that have gone before Ashley, she's brought a very special level of energy and new thought processes to the society, and I would actually just like to recognize that and give it a round of applause to Ashley. I didn't realize it at the time, but when I joined the society, as sort of small as we were, there were a lot of opportunities to participate in forming thought around the financial industry in Hong Kong. I was lucky enough to be asked to take on the role of looking at what we call the general regulation and these type of things, answering consultation papers, which seems like quite a boring thing, but actually, even back then, the government, the SFC, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, was interested in the views that a group of independent financial analysts put on consultation papers around various regulatory issues. And I was invited on a number of occasions to present those views in the Legislative Council of Hong Kong, answer questions, and engage in well-known politicians such as Emily Lau and Ronnie Tong. And I thought to myself, wow, look at me, I'm just a guy from overseas, from Canada, and now I'm here in the Legislative Council answering to these people and putting forth the views of the society and the CFA Institute generally. And that led me on to an appointment to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange Listing Committee, and after that, the SFC Takeovers Panel. And it's really been my honor to, in a way, represent the society in forming and formulating financial policy in Hong Kong. And I would have never had that opportunity had it not been for the society. So really the society and the power that it has today with the number of people that are in the society is even greater. So any of you who are here who are wondering, what can I do? You know, get the society behind you, and it's just amazing the kind of things that can happen. And in fact, as we look forward, as Ashley was talking about, we need to look forward to the next 25 years, there's a lot of challenges in our industry. As we know, we went through at the turn of the millennium, there was a terrible, or there was a huge bull market where there was terrible excesses that happened in our industry and terrible abuses of power that's resulted in, quite frankly, a tsunami of regulations, of compliance issues that, in my view, are slowly strangling our industry. And the reason that those regulations and that compliance and all that KYC and all that other nonsense that we have to deal with on an ongoing basis is because the integrity of the people that were here 10 years before us or 15 years before us went to a very low level. And it's the correct response that regulators are always going to do, right? So, what organization can you think of in the world that promotes ethics among financial practitioners? Any ideas? Right, it was all in your exams, right? Do you remember that? So quite seriously, I think that ethics, which I sort of define as personal integrity, is the only thing that is going to allow our industry to get back to where it should be, which is innovation, proper risk-taking, pioneering, as opposed to compliance-related, actuarial, statistically following benchmarks, etc. Because let me tell you, there's a big world out there called artificial intelligence. And if we don't get back to being smart about how we run our industry and invest in markets and analyze securities and give advice on securities, all our jobs are going to disappear to AI, artificial intelligence. So really, if I could have pass on a message to all of you, and certainly it's preaching to the converted if I'm speaking to the CFA Institute and the Hong Kong Society of Financial Analysts, let's focus on getting this ethics and integrity in our business back on the front page. You know, when I started as a little boy in the industry, back actually in Edinburgh and then in London and in Hong Kong, my word is my bond was the motto of the London Stock Exchange. And that really, we've got to get back to that, because otherwise we're going to drown in red tape. I understand that the person that's speaking after me is a gentleman called Paul Smith, and for those of you fashionistas that are excited to be told about what's going on in the fashion world, sorry. The Paul Smith that you're about to meet is very well dressed, I must say. I've known Paul for a very long time. In fact, I was his client many, many years ago at Bank of Bermuda, and when he was at Bank of Bermuda, and I remember him being very deferential to me as you know, coming to his office if I had things to do. And I realized that although we were in this client, you know, customer service provider relationship, that he was, you know, probably a guy I wanted to be friends with. And in fact, now gone to a place where I was his client, to where I'm running to the bar and getting him drinks and calling him sir, because he's just the like top guy around here. So I think the other thing we should all remember is don't burn any bridges. You just never know who you're going to meet later on in life and sit beside, etc. So that's all I really have to say. Thank you to the Hong Kong Society of Financial Analysts for making my almost 30 years in Hong Kong meaningful, enjoyable. My wife Abby and I have been to many of your events over the years. We might have even planned one or two of them. This is really special to be here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be here for the next 25th or the 50th one. Maybe I'll send my son. Thanks.